everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where last time and over the last several episodes, we have been making progress on the main story. At last, we are finally in the phase of the Let's Play where we're making regular main story progress. We've begun an investigation into some kidnappings and a potential primal summoning out in Camp Drybone area. But we're putting that off for a day because it is Sunday. That means it is time for our break from everything else to go do side quests. And today for side quests we are unlocking three features in fact. Two of which I have unlocked before on my main account, and one of which I have never touched before. Because confession, I, until recently, hated character creators. And if you know me well enough, you can probably figure out why pretty quickly. But yeah, I don't like character creators, so I always kind of avoided one of the features of this game. But we'll be getting into that today, and I will finally be doing that and checking out what it's like. Anyways, the first two things we are doing today are known as the Aesthetician and Glamours. And I am so excited. First off, here in Limsa, up near in the Drowning Wench, we have Sidojbi. I have to assume that second D is silent. Rumors of a dangerous madman about town have Sidojbi ill at ease. Oh dear. You're either a brave woman or a fool, friend, to be wandering the streets of Limsa today, what with a slasher of Fisherman's Bottom on the loose. Oh no. You've not heard? There's a madman about. Why, it said he brandishes blades so long and sharp that they could gut a whale. No one's seen any blood yet, but that hasn't stopped the rumors from sending shivers up spines in every alehouse in town. That you're still standing before me tells me you don't scare as easily as the rest. Perhaps you could assist with the investigation. To start with, you might want to look into that scream I just heard outside. Ugh. Well, this isn't what I expected to happen. We should probably equip some sort of combat class. Pugilist. Let's go with Pugilist. After all, we're working on getting Pugilist up to 20, and you're almost there. Alright, so where is this slasher of Fisherman's Bottom? Looks like they're hanging out just over here. The scream came from this direction. Uh-oh. Okay, well, no one's dead, it looks like. Why will no one listen? My blades. I must have my blades. Oh, okay then. What are you waiting for? That's him, the slasher. Apprehend him, toss him in jail, and throw away the key, or gut him and feed his lifeless body to the sharks for all I care. Just do something. Woe is me. Whatever did I do to deserve this cruel fate? For 6 moons, I saved every last gill of my husband's hard-earned wage, forgoing new shoes, a new purse, sometimes even food for our children, all in anticipation of this day. Food for your children? I hope it was something important. What's so special about today, you ask? Well, why, this day marks the arrival of a world-renowned aesthetician in Limsa. My endless patience and self-control were to be rewarded with a hair-raising transformation that would have every fashion-conscious woman's oohing and awing in admiration. You skip food for your children for this? Like, I respect and appreciate the desire to look good, but you skip food for your children. Instead, I find myself accosted by this lecherous lout. Speaking of which, weren't you going to do something about this? Go ahead, have your way with him. I doubt he has anything to say for himself. Well, he said he needs his blades, but honestly, if he really is a slasher, I say he doesn't need them at all. Please take those away from him immediately. Oh, the ignominy of it all. Of course you take her side. For shame, is there not one sympathetic ear in this entire nation? An artiste of my renown should be welcomed with open arms and a 21-cannon salute. Instead, I am branded a criminal, the tools of my trade, nay, the extensions of my very soul, ripped unceremoniously from my person like barnacles from the side of a frigate. I will not last long in my weakened state. No, even as we speak, the world around me grows dim. With my dying breaths, I speak unto you 3 names, 3 kind souls who may yet put right to what has gone so frightfully wrong. Forge Master Hananza of Naldic and Vimelis, Guildmaster Beaton of the Gridanian Carpenters Guild, and Severian at the Alchemist Guild in Ul'dah. You really think Severian could ever help you with anything? If there is an ounce of compassion in you, seek them out, and tell them Jandalane sent you. When my soul is restored and my name rightfully cleared, all of Limsa, nay, the entire realm will sing your praises. For I, Jandalain, am none other than the S. Yes. And he's dead. Okay, so I think I know what's going on here. But we have 3 people to meet with, 3 guild masters it seems, for the various crafting guilds. Let's start off with Hananza since we are in Limzalominsa. Hello there, Hananza. I have a very strange and violent man who needs your help. Jandalain sent you? Let me guess, the barmy fool's lost his tools. Pardon me, the appendages of his very soul again, and is thrashing and tossing like the end of days is nigh. Yeah, that sounds about right. The man brings it upon himself. If he toned down the theatrics and went about his work like an earnest craftsman, I dare say he'd save himself these misunderstandings. No, I've not a whit of sympathy for the fool. You, however, have my pity indeed for having to play audience to his whining. Any road, this should shut him up for a while. Tell him that if he loses these, I'll graft the next pair into his bloody hands. Ah, so it's a recurring issue with him. Got it. Alright, next up is Severian. Shoot. I'm still gonna have to ride a chocobo back into Thanalan because I moved my home point. I don't regret moving my home point. Horizon is a good spot to have it at, but... Alright, Severian, I hear someone actually wants your help with something. Actually, no, plenty of people want your help. What they don't want is to work with you. You've come on behalf of Jandalain. Why, I just furnished him with a fresh batch of my special creations last week. I realize the man's services are in demand, but it would be physically impossible for him to exhaust the entire supply so soon. Stolen, you say? An unfortunate turn of events indeed, if not entirely unexpected. You see, the man is something of a genius, and a genius is often misunderstood by modest minds. Trust me, as I speak from extensive personal experience. Ah, so you are in fact best friends. Yeah, no, actually, that makes perfect sense. Yes, great minds must band together in trying times, lest the realm be deprived of our talents. And so I command you, deliver this parcel to Jandalain with all speed. I fucking hate Severian. Of course he's best friends with... God, that just makes too much sense. Alright then, Beaten! I have a request from you from a very extra man. He had his tools stolen, and he's throwing a fit about it. A message from Jandalain, you say? So he's lost another one. Does the man not understand that wood doesn't simply grow on... or actually it does, at least in a manner of speaking, but the fact remains that resources are in short supply. For all his flowery words, if his tools were truly an extension of his very being, one would think he'd find a way to hold on to them for more than a fortnight or two. Jandalain's skills are not to be doubted, but his temperament leaves much to be desired. Still, it is not my place to judge. Take this to him, and let us both hope that he will right his ways. Alright, Jandalain, I got your tools. Let's go get a haircut. Alright, Jandalain, I brought you your tools. Will you promise not to lose them this time, and stop being so goddamn extra to the point that everyone thinks you're a serial killer? If there is an ounce of compassion in you, friend, I beg of you, retrieve for me the tools of my trade, for I am none other than Jandalain, the... Don't worry, I got all of your packages. Could this be? Yes, I can feel it. The light returns to my eyes. Power courses through my fingers. I live! Yeah, he's not gonna get any better. And as I live, this unspeakable embodiment of ugliness must die. Begone, foul demon! Aye! And so I ask, how do you feel, madam? Why, it's as if, in but a single magnificent moment, I traveled beyond the void and returned to life as the embodiment of all that is beautiful in this world. Could it be? Yes, it must! How else to explain such power? You are the one who's coming with foretold. You, yes you, are the aesthetician! In the flesh, madam, I am Jandalain, crafter of coiffures so fine that Menthina herself doth begrudge my clientele their beauty. But let us speak of you, madam, for where a moment ago stood a fashion challenge frump, now there stands... A beauty reborn. And you are the one I must thank for reviving my soul, that I might once again bestow my gifts upon a realm bereft of beauty, a kindness I intend to repay in full. Do you fear that your own hairstyle is becoming passé? Fear the specter of ugliness threatening to consume you? Fear not, friend, for it shall not survive my wrath. You did absolutely nothing. As the madam before you has this very realm we call home, from an abyss of unfathomable drabness you shall rise anew. My clients have been known to make reservations moons, even years in advance, but you shall know no such troubles. No, for proving a staunch ally to good taste when all others turn a blind eye, I gladly place myself at your beck and call. Yes, the next time you find yourself plagued by aesthetic ennui, you need only ring up the crystal bell from the comfort of any inn room at which you have taken up lodgings. Jandalain shall hasten to the scene. Yes, in a flash, the dreary, uninspired life you have hitherto known shall end. You shall travel to the realm beyond and return to us as a beauty reborn. I give you this as a token of the trust between us. Treasure it, for it is the key to a world of aesthetic wonders ordinary women shall never know. Is he flirting with me? I think he flirts with everyone. Oh, Master Jandalain, do come back. I've not made my next appointment. You're already dissatisfied? And that is Beauty is only scalp deep. We get Jandalain's token, which is good for a single visit from the esthetician. From now on, we can head into any inn room and, well, let's just read the tutorial. You have befriended Jandalain, much to your probable displeasure, or great pleasure. He's actually really funny. I love him, but also, God, why is he so much? By using the crystal bell found in your inn room, you can call upon the services of the flamboyant esthetician. From hairstyle and color to face paint, he can create a new look for you for merely 2,000 gil. Whenever you feel like a change, Jandalain is your man. So yeah, 2,000 gil is all it costs to change your hairstyle and face paint and even hair color. Or we can use that Jandalain's token we picked up for good for one free visit from Jandalain. But honestly, 2,000 gil is not much at all, so that's a really good bargain. I'm real excited about that because I actually do have plans. I do have plans with regards to how Satori's look will evolve throughout the game. So having access to the esthetician is a very good thing. Alright, next thing we need to do, we are heading to the Arcanist Guild, because we are riding the ferry onto Vesper Bay for the other major feature we're unlocking today. And then once we're done with that, we can go ahead and make our way over to a retainer vocate and finally recruit our first retainer. Alright, let's see. For this, we want to find, I believe it's Swirgim? Hello there, Swirgim. We have two options here. If I Had a Glamour and Color Your World. Let's go with this one first. Swirgim wishes to impart to you her knowledge of glamours. Oh dear, 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 this will never do. My sense of aesthetics simply won't allow it. How can you go out dressed like that? What, you don't like my helmet with cat ears? My dear, if only you'd spare a thought for style and coordination. I hope your garb holds up during a scuffle, because there's little else going for it. That's it. I've made up my mind. From this day forth, I'll take it upon myself to save you from any more fashion disasters. Let me see, so much that needs to be addressed. Where to even begin? Be a dear and get me a drink. I'm feeling rather parched, and this is a matter best discussed over a glass of something cold. Just go to the pist paste and ask Folkland. I'll have some blood orange juice and tell her to make sure there's no pulp in it. Now off you go. Alright, off to the pist paste. I guess that's a bar name. We need, what was it? Some food? It was a blood orange juice? Oh, Sphere Game sent you, did she? That woman, I've never known anyone so lazy. Would it kill her to come and get it herself? Yeah, seriously, it's just right over here. But yeah, she said she wants it to be basically food, so with pulp. Here you are. You shouldn't let her push you around, you know. Give her an ilm and she'll take a malm. I mean, she's offering to help with something important, so I'm not too upset about it. So, how's that drink coming along? It is right here. Extra pulp, just like you asked. Oh, delicious! Nothing better on a hot day. Some say I have expensive taste, but life's too short to settle for second best. Of course, this extends to my choice of wardrobe, too. Now that I'm feeling refreshed, shall we get started? Do you know, dear, that you'd look a lot less drab if you knew how to apply glamours? What's a glamour, you ask? Well, they use a glamour prism as a catalyst to project the image of one item onto another. It's just an illusion, mind, but very convincing. This means that the original object stays essentially the same, it just takes on a new appearance, that's all. Remember, if you fancy a change, you don't have to stick with the same glamour. Just apply another one on top or use a glamour dispeller to return the object to normal. Why sacrifice style for such humdrum trifles as durability or protection from bodily harm? Limitless possibilities for self-expression are just a couple glamours away. Go ahead, give it a try, and do make it quick, dear, for my sake. I'm finding your uninspired attire more and more offensive with each passing moment. Alright then, we learn about glamours. Glamours are basically how you put on specific outfits in this game beyond just like putting on your armor for stats. You get 12 glamour prisms, you need one for each piece of clothing you're going to glamour, and yeah, let's go over it with a tutorial which will inevitably pop up in like 5 seconds. Glamour dressers and in-rooms are now available. You may use dressers to transform items into glamours and create ensembles for quick and easy use. Alright, so glamours, yeah, let's go over the tutorial. Glamours allow you to alter the appearance of equipment through the use of illusory magics. To change the appearance of an item, highlight it and select Cast Glamour from the sub-commands. Casting glamours requires catalysts known as glamour prisms. Please note that for the illusion to take effect, the projected gear must be compatible with the glamoured gear's level, class, race, and gender. Glamoured items cannot be sold or traded. Furthermore, the item lending its likeness will become bound to you. With these conditions in mind, by using glamours, you can always look and perform your best. So yeah, for each individual piece of equipment, we can cast a glamour on it with a glamour prism. Select a piece of equipment that we want it to look like, and then it'll look like that item until we either cast a new glamour or use a glamour dispeller. Glamour dressers are how I prefer to do glamours, and how most people prefer to do glamours because they're just so convenient. Is your inventory cluttered with gear you only wear on special occasions? Are glamour prisms causing you headaches? Glamour dressers have been added to in-rooms across the realm to make applying and managing glamoured gear simpler and more intuitive. Start by adding gear to any glamour dresser where it is instantly transformed into a glamour. Next, use glamour plates to create full sets of glamoured attire which can be applied to your character all at once. I believe it uses less glamour prisms too. I think it's one glamour prism to put an item into your dresser, and then you can just apply it using the preset plates that you're able to set up. We'll be getting to that soon enough. I am going to want to stock up on a few glamour prisms, and I believe you have some. Oh, you do, but I can't buy them because, yeah, these are crafting materials. We are eventually able to craft our own glamour prisms, so we will be getting to that in due time. Maybe this merchant is who has them? I know someone around here has glamour prisms for sale. No? Am I honestly just thinking of the base crafting materials? Oh well. Well, eventually we'll be able to craft and or buy glamour prisms in order to stock up and stick as many as we want into our Glamour dresser. We'll be getting to setting up our Glamours pretty shortly. Sphere Game! Sphere Game wants to show you a whole new world of colors. You there, yes, you, the decisively unfashionable adventurer. Do you have to keep insulting me? Gods be good, never in my life have I seen such unapologetic focus on function at extreme cost of form. The mere sight of you fair makes my eyes bleed. As a lover of all things aesthetically pleasing, I cannot in good conscience allow you to continue roaming the realm in that sorry state. I believe your appearance can yet be salvaged through the use of color. I will teach you how to go about dyeing your outfit, but first I must have a drink. The heat has given me a vicious thirst and I won't be able to talk for any length of time. Be a dear and buy me a bottle of orange juice at the stall by the northern gates, would you? Once I have moistened my throat, we shall see to the business of remedying your appearance. Seriously, I just got you some orange juice. You want more already? Oh my god. Alright, orange juice, orange juice. There's some orange juice. Thank you. I need to go make a delivery. At least she's teaching me how to do aesthetic stuff. Pray tell, have you brought my orange juice? Lest you have forgotten, the merchant who sells it can be found just inside the north gates. Don't worry, I got your dang orange juice. Phew, that's a relief. Finally, I can teach you how to bring color into your life. Listen well. There are handy items called colorants, which allow folk to dye their outfits a veritable rainbow of colors. These colorants are so simple to use, adventurers have no excuse to be fashion unconscious. Lest you worry that dyeing will affect your garment's precious properties, you may rest assured it will not. The practicality you adventurers love so much will not suffer for the change in appearance, a change for the better. It should also gladden you to know that garments can be dyed repeatedly, so there is no fear of getting locked into one color. The garish pink that seemed like such a wonderful idea after a dozen glasses of red can be undone. And that is all you need to know about dyeing gear. Now, what are you waiting for? Get out there and bring some color into your life. And she gives us a few different dyes to get us started. Oh hey, pugilist at level 20. Nice. You are now able to dye items. To dye a piece of gear, you must first have the proper colorant. Colorants can be crafted or purchased in stores. Once you have the proper colorant, dyeing an item is as easy as selecting the dye icon from the Actions and Traits interface. There is no limit to how many times an item can be dyed. A dye can also be removed by using an item called terebinth. It should be noted, however, that certain items require the completion of quests before they can be dyed. If you wish to paint a housing fixture or furnishing, you can do so by selecting Furnishing Color by accessing Housing within the Social menu. Alternatively, furnishings can also be painted when selected from the inventory. So not only can we choose exactly what we want our gear to look like, regardless of what we're wearing, we can also just straight up dye our gear. We're having a great time. There's definitely a theme for this episode. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and make my way to Ul'dah, we'll pick up a retainer, and then we'll go check out Glamour dressers in the inn rooms. Alright, in basically every major market, such as Ul'dah's Silver Bazaar, you can find a retainer vocate who you can hire retainers from. Greetings, I take it you have come to see me about a retainer. Yes, I've never done this before. I would like to hire a retainer. According to our records, you may hire up to 2 retainers. Currently, you have no retainers in your employ. Alright, when customizing our retainer, we'll be unable to communicate with players and engage in other activities. I'm going to go ahead and hire a retainer. Excellent, we have quite a few men and women on our list, so I invite you to describe the retainer you desire down to the most minute detail. And we get to load up the character creator, and basically design whoever we want to be our retainer. I am not a big fan of the character creator, mostly just because I don't want to think about how someone looks. It's just not that important to me, so I don't know, let's hire a bunny boy. I think I like you slightly more. I'm just gonna leave the defaults because genuinely I do not care. We'll go ahead and confirm. No saving. Finalize. I can think of several retainers that are exactly as you describe. Oddly enough, they have strikingly different personalities. If you would be so kind as to state a preference, it would be most helpful. And now we get to choose what we want our retainer's personality to be like. Basically, this just affects their dialogue. Let's go with lively, I guess? Very well, I have just the individual in mind. When summoned, this retainer will greet you just so. You have my ear, milady, both of them, in fact. Fair enough. And when dismissed, this retainer will bid you farewell just so. Nothing else? Then I shall be hopping along. Oh my god. Alright, let's go for it. I don't care. Excellent. It is also customary to give a retainer an appellation of one's own making, a nickname, as it were. We find this deepens the bonds between our clients and their retainers. Can I just, like, you have to, See, this is what I don't like. I don't care. And yet I feel like I have to make it good. Alright, I went ahead and took a look at some common Viera names and just picked up a combination that I thought looked good. I genuinely don't care. This is first and last name. I did say that it didn't say that you can have spaces. Let's see, it can contain letters, apostrophes, and hyphens. So I might actually want to replace that space with a hyphen. Let's do that to be safe. And go for it. One moment, please. And that name is available. Ysera Riodver is now in your employ. Apparently, Viera names are typically Icelandic, especially, the first names are typically Icelandic, or at least comparable to Icelandic names. So that is interesting to me. I don't know how to pronounce those names, apologies. You can summon your new retainer using the nearby bell. If you have any further questions or requests, please do not hesitate to ask. So yeah, now that we have a retainer, we can use any summoning bell to check out how they're doing and talk with them. Summoning bells are used to call forth any retainers you have in your employ. Retainers are helpful NPCs who can be hired by players to maintain items in Gil, as well as to place goods up for sale in the markets. Once you have been given approval to hire retainers, speak with Fridvib in Limsa, Parnell in Gridania, Chichabi in Ul'dah, Prunilla in Ishgard, or Kazashi in Kugane. Alright, Ysera. What do you got for me? Once a retainer is summoned, you can entrust them with Giller items, as well as have them put entrusted items up for sale in the markets. Additionally, you can also send them afield on ventures. To entrust an item or retrieve an item from your retainer, simply drag it from one inventory window to the other. To transfer Gil, click on the Gil transfer button to open a separate window. So yeah, we can give you items in order to hold on to them so we don't have them cluttering up our inventory. Which I think I won't do that quite yet, but I will eventually do that with our crafting supplies. Because I'm not always going to need those, and it might be good to have you hold on to them. We can let you hold on to Gil. We can have stuff in our inventory be sold in the market. We can have stuff in our retainer's inventory be sold on the market. So it'll be put up on the market boards for other players to buy. We can view the history of their sales, how much they've been selling and how well they've done. And we can edit their comments. Oh, probably just wonder what that's about. I assume that's going to have something to do with the market board? Anyways, I don't see where we can send them out on ventures. But yeah, retainers. Very handy. Basically, extra inventory and ability to sell on the market boards. So that's handy. I definitely appreciate that. Alright then, next up, the last thing we are doing today. Now that we have a retainer, I'm not going to be making use of them quite yet. Just wanted to make sure we had one on hand. Let's go ahead and stop in the inn and we can check out the Glamour dresser. Hello there, Otopa Potopa. Can I please head on into the inn? Have I been to the Ul'dah Inn before? I might have once. Alright, over here we have the Unending Journey, where we can of course review cutscenes, the Orchestrion, where we can listen to any music we've picked up, the Summoning Bell, where we can summon our retainers, Crystal Bell for summoning the Esthetician, the Toy Chest, where we can play any minigames we've picked up, and the Glamour Dresser and Armoire. Both of these are used in setting up glamours. The Armoire is able to store very specific and special items. Not all items can be stored in the in the Armoire, but anything stored in the Armoire will basically be treated as if it's a glamour. Anything that doesn't get stored in the Armoire will need to be stored in the Glamour Dresser if you want to use it on glamour plates. Okay, so how does this actually work? How do you tell what can be stored where? Well, if we take a look at, for example, our brass Viking sword here, on the menu on the bottom left, in the very top right of that menu, to the right of the word binding, we have 3 icons. We have a crest, we have a dresser, and we have an armoire. If that crest is lit up, that means you can apply company crests to that piece of equipment. Company crest being, for example, if you join a free company and they have a crest, you can apply that to some of your gear if that's lit up. The second icon is the Glamour Dresser. If that's lit up, you can store the item in the Glamour Dresser. And the last icon indicates that it can be stored in the Armoire. It's only very specific special items, typically seasonal event items or other special important items, that can be stored in the Armoire. For example, all of our gear that we picked up for being subscribed for well over a year on my main account, we can store all of that into the Armoire. I don't think it uses up any glamour prisms to do this, but you can use any of the stuff we store in here as glamour items. Gonna go ahead and store all of this in here because it's really only useful for aesthetic purposes. And anything we have equipped that'll eventually, Minvina's earring can eventually be stored in the Armoire. But for now, we went ahead and put all of those items that we picked up way back at the start into the Armoire, freeing up quite a bit of space. Quite a bit indeed. That feels very nice. Our inventory's looking a lot emptier now. I'm gonna have to go through and sell some old gear at some point. Soon. Alright, the other thing we need to check out is the Glamour Dresser. Glamour Dresser? There we go, glamoring gear. If you come across a piece of gear whose design tickles your fancy, you may be able to store it in a Glamour Dresser, where it'll be instantly transformed into a glamour. This can be confirmed via the item's help window once stored in the Glamour Dresser. Images of the gear can be applied to glamour plates and then equipped via the plates at your leisure. Note, however, that gear stored on the Glamour Dresser cannot be equipped until removed from the Glamour Dresser. So effectively, anything we want to use for aesthetic purposes, stick in here, and we can apply it to a glamour plates. Actually, it'd be easier to show that from here. Edit glamour plates, we can head on in. We have 20 glamour plates available. Any one of these can have any set of gear that we want that's stored in the Glamour Dresser or the Armoire. And then we can just go ahead and apply that, or save it, and then apply it, and then we are wearing the glamour. Alright, so let's see. What do we have that can actually be used? Our Armoire has... Okay, over here, the Wild Rose bandana. Do we want to wear the Wild Rose gear, or... What's the Tantalus gear look like? Pretty sure Tantalus gear comes from one of the main Final Fantasy games. Ooh, I like those pants. Those are good pants, actually. Those are really good pants, actually. But let's see. I'll go with the Leonhardt boots. Oh my god. What the heck is that? I'm gonna go with the Tantalus breeches. I really like those pants. For the cuffs... I like the Leonhardt gloves a bit more. They don't cover as much wrist. And for the body, what do we want to wear? We can wear Cloud's jacket. Honestly, the Tantalus vest isn't too bad. I kind of like the Tantalus set for the most part. Alright then, once we've gone ahead and set up what we want to be in our Glamour, we can go ahead and save it in its current state. And then we can use it. Glamour plates allow players to instantly equip an entire set of Glamour gear without expending Glamour prisms. Please note that Glamour plates will only be used while in a large city or sanctuary. So yeah, the Glamour prisms I believe we use up when we put items into the Glamour dresser specifically. But if once that's done, we can just use the Glamour plate and voila! Without using any of our Glamour prisms, we are now wearing this equipment while having the stats of our old equipment. Beautiful. There is one set of gear which is really useful for glamoring. I don't quite remember where it is off the top of my head. We'll probably pick it up at a later time. It might not even be available quite yet. If anywhere, it's going to be available in Vesper Bay, so we'll have to check that out eventually, once I remember when and where we can get it. But that'll be for another time. For now, we finally have access to Glamours. We can also go ahead and, if we wish, dye our gear. Just use some dye from the inventory, select what we want to dye. What do we want to dye? We can also dye the stuff in our Glamour dresser from the Glamour dresser menu. I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. We'll take a look at that at some other time. But yeah, we now have basically full control over our character's appearance. We just have to have the right equipment and we can look however we want. So then, next time on Final Fantasy XIV, we are returning out to Camp Drybone, and we are going to be continuing the investigation into the disappearances that may be related to the Amalja summoning their primal. I will see everyone next time for that.